everybody, this is Gus G from Firewind, and you're watching the Brutally Delicious podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4. The Brutally Delicious podcast. The Brutally Delicious podcast. The Brutally Delicious podcast. The Brutally Delicious podcast.
What's up, everybody? I am Dark Masick with Brutally Delicious, and we are here in Madison, Wisconsin with the legendary Gus G of Firewind. How are you doing, man?
Oh, thank you. Good to be here.
Is this your first time in Wisconsin?
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Petros, our bass player, he reminded me yesterday. He said, "We've been here once." I said, "We never played here," because I know that. And he said, "We had a day off once in one of our tours in Madison." But I'm sure we've played Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like 3 hours from here.
Yeah, we've done with Milwaukee a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. That's like one of the first questions I love to ask Europeans is, have you ever heard of Wisconsin before this festival? You have?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been in America so many times, and yeah. I mean, I'm not a geography freak or anything, but I know, all the states and stuff like that. So, and I've been to most of them pretty much over the years. Tours.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Sometimes it's like, with this genre specifically, it's very European centric. Like,
yes. I mean, I know like the location is probably not like the hottest market like Wisconsin, but do a lot of bands pass through here?
Madison, I'm not sure about. Like Milwaukee, probably.
They do.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I live in New York, so like I had to come a far way too. Not as far as you. But
Yeah. How far did you drive here or fly?
I flew, and that's like 2.5 hours or something.
Okay.
It'd be a long drive, like 14, 15.
Yeah, it's better to fly. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's just my fun little there's not a ton of power metal bands from America. You got like Camelot, and there was that one that imploded a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And Wars of the Trident, of course. But
Yeah.
So yeah, every time it's like, hey, European guys, name our states.
Oh, okay.
And So you released Stand United last year, right?
We did, yeah. We did.
Was that 10 albums?
Album number 10, yeah. Studio album for sure, yeah.
So, sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, it came out, actually, what is it now? It's early June. We released it in March, I think March 1st. So it's been just a little over a year. Basically, we toured pretty hard for that album. We went on tour straight after it came out. I think last year we did about 80 shows or 78 shows, something like that. Man, we were like on the road for 5 months. But we did the European tour. We did an American headline tour, which we hadn't done in 13 years.
Yeah.
Like we did a support tour. We supported Dragon Force right after the pandemic, but like our own headline thing we hadn't done since 2011. And yeah, we did that. We went to Asia. Then we did another tour in Europe. So we did a lot of stuff. We did a UK tour. We just wrapped things up this past February. That's when the world tour officially kind of ended.
And is that the end of this album cycle, or do you have?
I think so, yeah. This year we're just taking it easy so we can write the next one. And we're just doing a few festivals scattered here and there this summer. This is actually the first official summer festival for us here and that with Power, and we have 4 more gigs in Europe later this summer.
Right, so album number 10, and it's been out for a year, and you're already like, okay, let's write number 11.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
I can tell you it's getting tougher every time, but I don't know. I felt, to be honest, I don't want it to sound silly or anything, but the vibe that we get from the fans and the reception and the energy that we get after this tour ended, it was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go back into it and do another one. I want because we want to get back out and do it all over again. And I had a lot of ideas, and I've been writing a lot. And since we decided to stay at home anyways, we didn't have a lot of tours coming up. I got creative. So actually I finished up, I shouldn't say too much about it, but I finished up 9 tracks.
Already?
Yeah.
9 tracks?
And we've already done the drums for it last week. So I'm a little bit of a crazy workaholic guy. So
Sure.
And I'm working on 2 albums parallel. I'm working on some solo stuff as well. But yeah, my priority was the Firewind. I wanted to complete Firewind album number 11. And we've done the drums for it. And this summer, I think I'm gonna be tracking the rest, like guitars and all that stuff, and write the vocals with her.
How do you? I'm sorry, I'm still like baffled by this. I had this separate question planned, but like maybe you can work this in. Like,
Okay.
Is it hard to like stay fresh that many albums? Like you just said, it gets harder, but like,
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you've had a couple different singers in the band.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm thinking like Black Sabbath when Dio came in, the songwriting changed entirely,
Yeah.
but it still sounds like them, kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
How do you do this?
It's a very good example actually, and Black Sabbath is always my go-to band because I always also been very troubled with the singer position in his
Right.
band, and so have I in that sense. And, but that gave me kind of like I always looked at history and like, what did Lord Iommi do back then? What did he do? Or what would Tony Iommi do in this situation? And then he always came back with another amazing singer, and he always put out like. I don't care what people say, but I think like in terms of Black Sabbath, like their worst album, so to speak, is still, by comparison, is much better than most metal albums out there. Like the stuff the guy writes is just insane, So it depends which era you are in, of course.
Yeah.
So what era you're into. They have different eras, the 80s and their 90s albums, and their 70s, of course, is the classic stuff with Ozzy. So yeah, but for us, actually. One thing, talking about singer changes, yes, it hurts the band for sure. That's the downside. But the good thing is when someone new comes in, it's how you keep things fresh in a way. You bring new energy into the band, and that's what happened with us with Herbie 5 years ago when he came to the band, and he brought this new energy. And the first album we did was kind of put together. We rushed it. Because we had to go on this major tour, and then everything got canceled because of COVID. But then I think Stand United, we kind of found each other. Like I started writing more for the specific singer's voice, and I think this is what's happening right now. We're kind of capitalizing on that. We've been building on that thing.
So when you talk about like writing for the singer, like the main thing I've heard of in the past is like maybe you change some keys. I know that like some people might go up if it's a really high pitched guy, or like. I don't know, like Motley Crue, I think they changed tunings for John Corabi. Is that mainly it, or are you like, how do we work? Like, is it style? Tell me more about this.
I think the keys is one thing, like you figure out which sounds good to whoever's range it is, and I mean the tuning of the band luckily never had to change because all of our singers that we had in the band, they were all amazing. Like vocally, like their range and their techniques, they were all like up there. So So it's the key is one thing, but also like writing with having a specific voice in mind for the vibe, the atmosphere of the song.
Sure.
And I think that's what that's what has been helping me writing the newer material. Yeah.
So you mentioned previously, like your first U.S. tour in what 11 years?
13.
So like 2009 to 2022. I saw that Dragon Force tour with you.
Oh, you were there? Okay. Yeah.
In New York. So 13 years, like. What? I mean, obviously you had your stint with Ozzy, but like, why was it so long?
Well, the thing is, with Firewind, because we've been around a long time. Probably a lot of people forget that we actually went on a hiatus in the 2000 in the 10s actually.
You were on hiatus then?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
yeah. We never really announced it officially. Like, oh, we didn't make drama around that. It was just like one of those things after. A previous singer or two singers before, Apollo, which is the guy who we had the more successful albums with. After he quit, we did like a tour with. We had like a stand-in singer who toured with us, and then that didn't work out. And at that point, we said, okay, let's leave it alone for a while. And that's when I launched my solo project, and I went out and did that for a few years. I think that's why we didn't come here. We didn't play at all for about 3 or 4 years. And then at the end of 2016, we decided to get together again and play a few festivals to see if we were getting along. And we had a new singer from Germany, Henning Basse. And it felt good again. And then we went back in 2017, we came back basically. And then that singer left. And then Herbie came in, and then COVID came.
Oh,
so it's been a bit, a few ups and downs. Like if you think about it, the last 10 years, that's the reason why we stayed away from America, really. And we kind of, whenever we were active, we were mainly active in Europe, which is closer, obviously.
Yeah, and like it sounds like that's where more of the money is anyway for metal tours or festivals anyway. Am I wrong?
For festivals, yeah, for sure. And it's just, I mean, it's always been good. Like even when we've done tours here, money-wise, it was okay. The thing is here that's for a European band, the starting costs for a tour here are much bigger because the flights are 5 times more expensive. You know, like to go anywhere to fly in Europe, you need like let's say $200. Here to fly here, it's like at least $1,000.
Right.
And if you want to fly in gear, crew people, the visas are also a big hurdle for a lot of the bands. The visa costs. So it's like, you know, before you say hello, I'm here, you need like $20,000 to $25,000 before you step your foot here and say, hey, we're here, let's play a show.
Right.
So for like this like mid-sized kind of club level touring, you know, that's a lot of money. So you have to invest a lot of money, and then a lot of bands I know they don't have that, or they cannot upfront it, and with the visas getting currently harder and all that.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, we never had any problems actually, because we've been doing visas for so long. So we never had any issues with that, and we had our visas already from last year.
Oh yeah, with Mortal Guardian and Edge of Paradise. Right?
Yeah, on that tour,
So.
and our visas are good for 3 years. So I think I think it makes sense to come back next year because we still have visas valid.
Okay, so can we expect to see a Firewind US tour next year?
I want to, for sure.
Okay, well,
we really want to. We want to have a new album out, and we want to do another tour next year.
Yeah, you weren't kidding when you said you were a workaholic.
I am telling you, it's the truth. The album is underway, and we're gonna do the tour. I mean, it's not booked or anything, but this is the plan of it. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's good to hear that like you have an easy time with the visas. I don't know if you're aware of like what's going on with this festival with Power. Like they had a lot of visa trouble, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think with like now you've toured the U.S. before. I think at that point they're like, yeah, sure, you can come back.
I think a lot of it depends on your history as well, and I don't think that from what I heard, the bands that it's not that anybody got denied the visa. It was like the timing was it was like running out of time to get the visas, which. That is a part of the process. I mean, I'm no official to talk about these things, but like having the experience of doing it for 20 years, it's a process.
Sure.
And like as Ty has said, like you have to upfront all these costs, like I don't know, 8-10 grand, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you have to send in your passport, and then you just wait for a few days, and then they'll tell you when you get your passport back. And I've heard cases where people are getting their passports back like in a couple of days, and they're good to go. And I've heard cases where they're holding them and they're like, we need you to come back for a second interview at the embassies if you're like more like you know, if this is gonna be like your first time, say, and they don't know any more info on your background and stuff. But I'm no official and I shouldn't be talking too much about that stuff but this is just like from experience basically, because it's different for every artist, I guess. And I've heard also stories that people don't get approved their petitions either because they've never been here.
Yeah.
And they don't have enough. Don't have sufficient.
Renown is the word.
Huh?
Is the word like great renown?
Yeah. They don't have enough like publicity to provide to prove that they are like an established enough name to come here and work. I don't know. It's crazy stuff, isn't it? But
Yeah. And I mean, it's just weird for me. So, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to like get my years straight here. You formed Firewind when you were like 18 or something. So 1998.
Yeah.
You're coming up
in Boston.
In Boston, right? Because you go to Berkeley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're coming up on 30 years.
Yeah, I want to think about it a bit less because the first album came out in 2002. Like in discography, we're like 23 years old. But as an inception of the band, I would say probably over 25.
Well, so I'm like, is there a plan for a 30th anniversary celebration, or I don't know, 25 in the first album?
We did actually celebrate 20 years of the band a few years ago in 2022. We did a couple of anniversary shows back home, and we filmed it, and we released like a live album and DVD Blu-ray, sorry. Does anybody watch these things anymore? But yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah. No,
YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, but we put it out actually, and it's a nice collectible thing, and we put a bunch of the videos up on our YouTube channel. So yeah, we did that. So I don't think we're gonna do anything for it 25th, that soon. Maybe if we make it to become 30 years old as a band, then yeah.
Well, that's only 3 more years, right? You're talking like when you first found it.
Okay, yeah. I have to think about it, actually. I have to think about it because I think we're getting up there into that, age where the anniversaries are coming in and oh my God, yeah, all those.
I hear you.
Play only that album from start to finish and those, basically what Iron Maiden is doing.
Yeah. I think the first time I caught you, and I think it was like 2005, you did like a Guitar World Bet You Can't Play This.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Back in the day.
I was like
5?
12? No,
Okay.
I'm not that young. But I was like, so for me, this is like a 20th anniversary source. So I think that was 2005.
2005, that was first time. I remember those. That was the year they started coming up with that Bet You Can't Play This.
Was that year?
Yeah, I think. At least that's what I remember, and it was kind of silly. When they asked me, I was like, no. I was like super happy to be featured in Guitar World, of course. It was a dream come true. But then I was like, why? Like, why should I say that to anybody? Like, I bet you can't play this. But I guess that was what triggered people to watch them.
Put another way, like when you were announced as Ozzy's guitar player, I was like, I remember that guy. Yeah. I think I already had is it Premonition?
Premonition,
yeah. I had that album.
Yeah, it would already come down.
But yeah, so fun stuff, I guess. Speaking of like old pastimes, I hope this isn't too touchy. Dream Evil was on this bill.
Yes, I saw those guys this morning at the hotel, at the breakfast at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen them in 20 years.
Really?
Yes.
So, but like, are things good there? Or?
Yeah. I gave everybody a hug, and we just talked about. We started asking each other, "How old are you now? How old are you?" So. Yeah, it was like a nice little reunion, It's like seeing old friends from high school in a way, But yeah.
Any plans to get up there and play Chasing the Dragon with them?
Oh God, no, we didn't talk that much stuff.
Man.
Yeah, but let's see. This is just the start of it. Let's see if something happens. But I don't even remember that stuff. But I'm excited to see them live. I haven't seen them since the last time I was on stage. And I never saw them because I was on stage with them. So, but it will be interesting to hear those songs that we did together.
Oh yeah. Like they had a new album out last year, but I'm sure they'll play some stuff from like the first 3.
Yeah,
those are like
those are like the more classic albums. I would say
Dragon Slayer, Evilized, and Book of Heavy Metal. Yeah, those are 3. Yeah. Cool. I guess just last things before we wrap things up. Have some more coffee, please. So obviously your old boss Ozzy is hanging it up. Was it July 5th in Birmingham?
Yep.
Are you going to be featured?
No, I'm not. No,
really?
I think they're pretty maxed out on the lineup right there. They have everybody, which is insane, huh? It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, but no, actually that day I'm in Sweden. I'm playing a festival with Firewind.
Okay.
It's called Time to Rock. Yeah. But not big that. But I didn't get invited either. So just to say, it's not like if they would have asked me, I would have tried to shift some plans. But they didn't, and I'm busy anyway. So.
Oh man.
If I wasn't busy, I would have liked to go as a spectator, as a fan, because I'm a massive fan.
Of course.
But obviously, I'm not gonna be there. Yeah.
Well, let me just say, like, the guy who made me really want to play guitar was probably Randy Rhoads, and it's like. Before I knew who you were, I still think "Let Me Hear You Scream" is one of the best Ozzy solos ever. Wow. I really do think that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to hear you're not involved. I would have loved to hear that. But.
It's okay. I mean, I'm happy and proud that I got to do a lot of stuff with him over the years. I mean, we only did one album, but I definitely played a lot of shows all over the world. So I have great memories. So
and you got to play the Garden with him, right?
I did.
Yeah. So
a lot of what do you call it? A lot of boxes have been ticked in my life because of that experience, and I'm really grateful. So it's okay, of course, for me. I'm actually really happy that he's doing this as a final bow, so to speak, and a final goodbye, or and with the Sabbath guys, all 4 guys.
Yeah, with Bill Ward back.
Yeah, because I saw the end tour. I saw that, and Tommy Clufetos was playing drums, and he's incredible. He was the right man for the job. But it's good to have the original 4 Sabs to be up there, and even if they play like one song, I think people are gonna go ape shit. So.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Great meeting you.
Appreciate it.